So the last time on Umineko when they cry, and when I say the last time, the last part, incident happened where not really incident, it was like a maybe arguably a disaster because it's usually on Rudolph's case and Kiri, maybe Kiri, but Rudolph's biological wife passed away, and when I say passed away, I mean like Balor's biological mother, in which it lead to a feud between Battler and Rudolph to where Battler wanted to leave the leave the Ushiromiya family, and that concerned Shannon a bit to where she's not really sure whether whether Battler will return to them just to and when I say return, um, to rescue her with the on the white horse. That type of fantasy logic in the fictional case. But I guess both Beatrice and the one in the red dress gave Shannon the hope pill, and this which involves the topic of the trial. I don't know, not the type of thing I wanted to think too deep on it, but it was like a pretty interesting part to talk about per se. But that being said, let's continue.
バトラが後ろ宮家を抜けたのだって案外そなたとの未来を見据えてのことなのかもしれぬぞ。
I guess that's a bit of a hypothetical sense.
あら、どうして？二人で暮らし、将来婚姻のちぎりを交わすことまで見通したなら、後ろ宮家の使用人であるシャノンと結ばれるには、後ろ宮の姓が邪魔をすることもあるかもしれぬ。
Well,
ああ、なるほど。
sounds like the kind of the same thing that applied to George earlier.
使用人の娘と結ばれるなんてギャンギャンって言われることを見越して先に後ろ宮の姓を捨てたってわけね。
Oh boy, what a shocker.
どうだシャノン。
Let me fix the volume. There we go.
これならば全てに筋は通るというもの。バトラが後ろ宮の名を捨てたのはそなたを考えてのことよ。ルドルフとの唐突な親子喧嘩はそれをもっともらしくする口実に違いあるまい。
You think that's an excuse? I mean, I'm hoping Balor doesn't forget about his promise. Otherwise, what if he break the What if breaking his promise is like a part of this his sin that he didn't atone?
素敵な推理だわ。
I wouldn't be surprised.
さすがリーチェ。どうだシャノン。
What a laugh.
落ち込むには値しないではないか。それどころかそなたと結ばれるためにバトラが先に決意を見せたようなものではないか。
The way you say it sounds like my personal therapist back then. It took her a bit of a while to think about it. A smile had finally returned to my face. Of course, I hadn't taken the witches seriously and let myself be reassured. It was closer to the opposite. It was almost funny that they could think up such ridiculously convenient explanations for everything. However, they had made all of those ridiculous theories to cheer me up. The witches are right when they say that I must trust Battler-san, and that there's no point moping about just because I've heard a few rumors. Until the next family conference, I intend to strengthen my resolve, and I believe that he'll accept my feelings and come for me. The accept the feelings part because, the romantic interest. The idea that Battler left the family so that he could be married to me someday was laughable, of course. But right now, I should try and feel confident enough to accept even crazy ideas like that.
ありがとうございます。なんだか少し気分が楽になりました。
ならばよかった。そなたが悲しみで枕を濡らすのを見るのは耐えられんのでな。
私の夢の中にまでやってきて励ましてくれて本当にありがとう。
うん。もうじき朝になる。すべては夢。そなたは目覚めれば何も覚えてはいまい。しかし、そなたの心に静寂は戻る。
はい。私は彼を信じて待つ。だから小さな噂話になんか耳を貸さないんです。
そうだ。次の親族会議まで自分を磨きながら待つのだ。
Yeah, because, negative rumors are pretty doomer behavior.
花嫁修行と思えば、日々のつまらぬ雑事も彩りを帯びよう。
本当にありがとう。
Hey, at least the servant work is going to be part of your resume. You can be a good wife to Battler.
リーチェ、もう朝になるわ。
そうか。それではさらばだ、シャノン。そなたはわらわを覚えてはいまい。しかし、わらわはいつもそなたのそばにいて、そなたを見守っているぞ。
ありがとう。ありがとう。
And then concludes just like that.
次の親族会議など瞬く間よ。のんびりと待つがよい。必ずバトラは約束を守るのだから。
1 year later. 1980, it is 1981. 5 years until the crime.
はじめまして。
5 years? Oh shit.
キリエと申します。よろしくお願いいたします。
Kiri.
名前だけならアスムさんより前から知ってるわ。ルドルフの昔っからのガールフレンドってね。ええ、ご縁は随分になりますので。
後ろ宮家へようこそ。当家に早く馴染まれることを期待します。
You sound really uncomfortable the way you say it. like you like like you could tell on her like I can read her face and be like, well man, this is a terrible idea.
はい。私も早く慣れて夫をサポートできるようになろうと思います。
それにしても可愛いお嬢ちゃんや。名前はなんて言うんや？
エンジェちゃんですって。
Oh, Angie.
可愛らしい名前ね。
Oh, this is where Angie is born.
やはり仲直りはできなかったのかね。よりを戻すならこの機会と思ったんだがな。親父に似て頑固なやつでな。
He is as stubborn as Kinzo? Damn, what a shocker.
もうバトラ君は帰ってこないの？寂しくなるわ。
男には家を飛び出す気概くらいあってもいいもんや。そういう男はな、きっとビッグになって帰ってくるで。
そう？バトラ君にとってもう今のお家はお家じゃないもの。帰る場所はもはやそこじゃないわ。
吉田前、ルドルフの家の都合だ。私たちが詮索することではない。
ありがとう、クラウス兄さん。それは私たち家族の問題です。
You know, even though Kraus is a little snooty, little shit, at least he has, you know, at least he has stepped in and be like, well, hey, it's none of your guys' business. It's for those two alone.
でもバトラ君がルドルフさんと一緒に暮らせる日が来るよう私も努力をするつもりです。だってエンジェのたった一人のお兄ちゃんなんですから。
ああ、バトラめ、意固地になっちまってて、今は何を言っても逆効果だ。アスムのお父さんがちょっと短気な人でな。焚きつけちまってるみたいでな。
Damn. Crazy. Asumu's biological father is also taking a side to that? Wild.
大丈夫よ。きっと遠くないうちにルドルフさんの気持ちを理解してくれるわよ。
わしらには応援しかできん。仮に帰ってこないにしても、はよ仲直りできるのを祈っとるで。
バトラが来ないとなんだかつまらねえぜ。
No kidding.
そうだね。早くルドルフおじさんと仲直りしてくれればいいのに。
バトラ様の気持ちを考えると辛いです。
急に家族が変わっちまったようなもんだしな。家が居心地悪いってのもあるだろうぜ。
男にはいつか独り立ちしなければならない日もある。
Ain't that the truth?
バトラ君にとってはもうそれが訪れたという話なのかもしれないよ。
そうなのですか？
そうさ。男がいつまでも両親のもとでぬくぬくしていたらかっこ悪いよ。荒々しく巣を飛び出して一肌あげなくちゃいけない。僕もやがてはと思ってたけど彼に先を越されてしまったよ。
You plan to leave the nest of it? So you mean to tell me Balor's gonna leave? Wow, that's wild. Like 6 years. So Balor was like, well, he didn't really leave He didn't really leave the nest, quote unquote. He just went to his grandparents' house as a way to protest against the Ushiromiya family. Like, not really leaving. You're not really leaving the nest per se.
一旗あげて立派になったら帰ってきてくれるのでしょうか。
ひょっとしたらもう帰ってこないこともあるかもしれないね。だってこれは彼にとって巣立ちなのかもしれないのだから。
巣立ち。
バトラ来なかったわね。
ああ、なんということだ。わらわはシャノンにきっと来るからと何度も言ってしまったぞ。きっとシャノンはバトラが来なくて深く落ち込んでいるに違いない。 わらわがいい加減なことを言って希望を持たせてしまったから。
親族会議の今日を張り合いに生きてきたようなもんだしね。彼女の気持ちを考えると心が痛むわ。
ありがとうございます。私は大丈夫です。
Crazy. I had been reunited with the witches once again in that dream world. Though I could never remember anything during the day, now that I was in the dream world, I somehow knew that this was a reunion. The witches both looked apologetic. Though they had tried to cheer me up by saying that Battler would come today. Now that he hadn't come, it was like they'd been lying, and they seemed to regret it heavily.
シャノン、まあ、
She's like, well, yeah, about that hope pill I had given you.
お気遣いをありがとうございます。悲しくなんかないと言えば、もちろん嘘になりますけれど、私は大丈夫ですから。
I mean, God knows how long you have to wait for Battler to arrive.
そうか？そうなのか？ならば良いのだが。
バトラのやつ派手に喧嘩したもんだからきっと引っ込みがつかなくなっちゃっただけに決まってるわ。男は意地っ張りだもの。
Well, I guess she's not wrong on that one. Oh shit. Yes, most of my friends are indeed men, and they are stubborn as well, including myself.
そうであるとも。
Oh my fucking god.
威勢のいいこと言って飛び出したものだから、今さら引っ込みがつかなくなって意地になってしまっただけに違いあるまい。
I thought youthful boys are mostly known to be more stubborn than before reaching adulthood.
きっと来ればよかったと後悔しているはずだ。そうとも、そうであるとも。
For some reason, they seemed nearly desperate in their attempts to encourage me. It was almost funny to watch. I couldn't help but giggle.
本当にありがとうございます。だって言ったのは皆さんじゃないですか。これは試練だって。
The truth was, I mean, if waiting is part of the trial, then God forbid how much time you gotta wait, you know. The truth was, I couldn't really fool myself so easily. When will he come back? When will he come for me? When isn't the question. Will he come for me ever? Did he forget his promise? If I start moping right now, the uncertainty and sadness will probably tear me apart. But they've taught me. This is a trial to see whether I really believe in him or not. The very fact that I feel uncertain and anxious is a betrayal of my resolve and of his promise to come for me someday.
ジョージ様が言ってました。これはバトラさんの巣立ちかもしれないって。
そうよ。これは後ろ宮の姓を抜け出て一人の男として羽ばたくという巣立ちなんだわ。
よくよく考えれば私たちはまだ若いんですし、本当に結ばれようと思ったらまだまだ社会的経験も信用も何より年齢が足りません。バトラさんが本当に真剣に考えてくださったならばこそ まだ迎えに来られるわけがないんです。
見事であるぞ。そうだ、その息であるぞ。
Hmm. Fair enough.
よくぞその境地に達した。
達せてなんかいません。でも今はそう思うことにします。それが試練でバトラさんを信じるということなんですから。
If he had come today, then today I would have had to tell Madam that I wanted to quit my job as a servant. However, was I really prepared to do that? Last night I kept worrying about whether Badler-san would come or not. Thanks to that, not only did I not have the resolve to quit my job, I hadn't even started on the paperwork to do so. In short, I still don't have the determination, quote-unquote, that I promised him that day. I'm sure that God knew that Badler will come for me when I found my determination. I wasn't determined, so it's only natural that he didn't come today. Yeah, it all makes sense now.
だからきっとバトラさんがいらっしゃらなかったのは私の決意がまだだったからです。彼が来てくれるかをしっかりと信じることもできなかった私ではそれも当然ですね。
おそらくバトラもそうであったに違いないぞ。そなたを迎えに行くだけの決意や覚悟がまだまだ足りなかったに違いない。
神様は薄情じゃないわ。
So what if he is?
二人の気持ちが本当に近づいたとき、必ず二人を引き合わせてくれるわ。
織姫と彦星のようにな。
Orihime and Hikoboshi. Where have I heard this from before? I don't think so. In the legend of Tanabata, a Japanese festival held on the 7th day of the 7th month, Orihime and Hikoboshi are celestial lovers represented by the stars Vega and Altair. The legend states that Orihime and Hikoboshi were placed on opposite sides of the heavenly river, that is the Milky Way, and forbidden from meeting, except for once per year on Tanabata, when magpies create a bridge across the river to bring the lovers together. However, if it rains on Tanabata, the rise of the river prevents the lovers from meeting, and they must wait another year. Huh. So is this this is the analogy that refers to Shannon. So Shannon and Badler is like some sort of analogy to this legend of the Tanabata Japanese festival. That's interesting to say, but you know that can apply to any sort of analogy in a way.
今年の七夕はたまたま天気が悪かった。今日のことはその程度に思おうと思います。
That's how I like to think about it. I have no other choice. Badler-san.
でもバトラ君が帰ってくるのは
6年後の話だ。だいぶ先の話になる。
That's a long gap right there.
このま
Jesus.
まこんな辛い気持ちのまま6年も待ち続けるというのですか。
Shit. Waiting 6 whole years sounds like a kind of miserable if you think about it that way.
来年こそはと毎年待ちわびるのは、それはもう永遠に待ち続けるにも等しいものでした。
痛々しい話ね。あなたがしたと思ってる約束を当のバトラは全く意識していなかったようだし。
バトラ君はルドルフおじさんに似てキザな言い回しを好むこともありました。そんな言い回しが誤解を与えたのかも。
バトラはきっといつか後ろから女に刺されるわね。まあつまりこれはそういう物語なわけかしら。
言葉は意味が宿れば人の人生を左右することだってある。
Some girls gonna. I mean, why do you say that though? I mean, I get the point that. I mean, I guess it makes. I guess it sort of makes sense. Like when you become almost impatient enough to wait for someone to to realize he. I kind of. God damn it. I guess it sort of makes sense. Like when you think if you think that he broke his promise for you, then sure, but who knows? Maybe there's more to this than just being impatient.
軽率な言葉は人を殺せるかもしれない。
And it ends just like that. Yeah. So one heck of a 1 year
第7章
hold on by just
恋
like
の
that.
目
Sprout of
恋の根
love, root of love. One year later. Oh boy. So what is this? Year 2? 1982. 4 years until the crime. What happens with that I don't know.
ですよね。男ってどうして群れるとバカばっかになるんでしょうね。
That's a good question. Jessica's room was filled with laughter.
なんつうかさ、幻滅するわけだぜ。ちょっと大人びててかっこいいかなって思った人がさ、クラスの男どもで群れてる時にゲビた話して下品な声で笑ってるの見ちゃうとさ。
Ah, it's gossip.
確かに男同士でいる時の男の方ってすごい子供っぽいですものね。まあそれを言ったら女も同じようなもんですけど。
The fun chat between girls continued without end. Tonight, Kraus and Natsuki were out late at a meeting on Nijima. Most of the time, Natsuki was always watching, so Jessica would always make sure to be curt with the young servants. But when Natsuki wasn't around, Jessica never did that. She had invited the servants of similar age to her room, and they were chatting away noisily. At that age, everyone wants to know about love. Thanks to the rigid and constricting way Jessica had been brought up, she enjoyed talking about it all the more.
お嬢様だって素敵だし、お年頃だし。
Oh god, and the way her neck twists on that body.
気になる男の子がいらっしゃるんじゃないですか？
恋はしてえけど、気になる男子ってなかなかな。
お嬢様はもっと恋に積極的でもいいと思うんです。余裕ぶってられるのも今のうちですよ。友人の誰かが付き合いだしたなんてことになったら急に世界がひっくり返りますよ。
That sounds like, oh, you're gonna become jealous later on.
そんなわけねえじゃん。私の友達に裏切り者はいねえぜ。多分。
You don't know that.
ああ、ダメダメ。女の友情で一番信用ができないのが恋の出し抜きです。お嬢様だって素敵な人と知り合ったら絶対友人なんて裏切って付き合っちゃいますって。
シャノンはどうなんだよ。私ばっかりでずるいぜ。シャノンも話せよ。
私はそういう方が身近におりませんし。
Not around. He's far, far away, and like Orihime and Hikiboshi, I don't get to see him very often. In fact, I don't even know when I'll be able to see him again. However, I believe that he'll come for me someday. Yeah, the hope pill is still consumed. I believe it.
シャノンは裏切るなよ。彼氏作るなら一緒だぜ。約束したもんな。
ああ、シャノンちゃんみたいな子に限って案外早く一抜けしちゃうもんですよ。
シャノン、白状しろ。本当に付き合ってるやつはいないよな。なあなあ。
What?
いませんよ。本当です。
Yeah, I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
本当に？
本当です。
私たち恋人作るのは一緒だからね。絶対だぜ。嘘ついたら針千本のませ。
Damn. You know what's funny about this one? This part of the dialogue right here. It reminds me of that one episode in the anime called Grand Blue Dreaming. I think, yeah, the main dude Iori in Grand Blue Dreaming, like he was like hanging out with like a bunch of guys, and anytime like one of the dudes within the friend group like gets caught with like a girlfriend, then it raises a ton of suspicion because they rather get like girlfriends together than than just have like one person, like you get what I mean, like it, because having one of the dudes in the friend group getting a girlfriend is kind of like is like betraying friendship. I don't know if it's hyperbolic within a logical sense, though. I don't know if it's within like Japanese social circles, but I mean, it could be a possibility.
はい。
But we'll see. Who knows?
約束します。
それは嘘をついてる顔ですよ。
How?
絶対この中でシャノンちゃんが一抜けする。私にはわかるんです。奥手そうな子がいつもみんなを出し抜くんです。
It's always the quiet ones that go first. Crazy.
なんだよこの野郎。白状しろ。
お許しください、お嬢様。くすぐったい。
A tickle fight? Oh shit! And so another Sunday afternoon passed by. Well, I mean, what are we at? We're on chapter 15. I worked my way out of the fight and looked up at the sky through the window. Is Battler-san happily chatting away with his friends somewhere right now, just like I am? As I think of you, like, I don't know what Battler's been doing within the 2 years of absence, so As I think of you like this, are you thinking of me? But if I ask that, it's the same as admitting that I don't trust you. I'll wait, and when you do come for me, I'll announce then and there that I'm quitting my job. I've already prepared myself to do so, but you haven't come yet. That isn't because you won't come, but because I'm not determined enough yet, right? It's because I haven't clearly envisioned a future with you, right? I'll wait, no matter how long. Until you come for me riding a white horse, I will always treasure our promise. The promise of our precious resolve.
男と約束なんかしちゃダメです。当てになりませんって。
Thinking that she had read my mind, I spun her. The fuck? Is she a psychic? I spun around. Of course she hadn't, but
やっぱその辺さ。男と女で価値観ってかなり違うと思うんだよ。
違います違います。全然違いますって。基本的に女の子は夢見がちで、男は何も考えてなくて適当って感じです。
異性同士で心を通わせるってやっぱ無理なのかな。
相当難しいと思いますね。女はすぐに相手のことが分かったような気になっちゃう悪癖がありますから。男の言う特に深い意味のない言葉にいちいち何かを感じてしまって勝手に勘違いしちゃうって結構ありますから。
just get the wrong idea.
ああ、いるいる、そういう子。はために見てどう見ても大したこと言われてないのに一方的に彼は私に気があるとか言っちゃってる子。いるいるいるいる。
女の一方的な勘違いって痛々しいですもんね。
Really? That's... It'd either be misunderstanding or, you know, I don't know what's the worst that can happen. So crazy. The pair of them laughed together. When our girl gets the wrong idea, could that be me? No, that can't be. After all, Battler-san clearly made a promise. He said he'd come for me riding a white horse. I mustn't doubt. I'm sure this conversation I'm hearing is just another one of God's trials. So, I won't listen. I won't care about it. You know, for waiting for 6 years, it sure is gonna be like, what if he does forget? Like, I'm not saying like Battler has like short-term memory or fucking, or maybe he has like some sort of like a thinking disability, but what if he does forget? Everything gets fucked, and you know, and what will happen after that? So I won't listen. I won't care about it.
勝手に心が通じたとか思っちゃう痛い女の子にだけはなりたくねえぜ。
Those demonic sneers tormented me and tried to lead me astray. I'm sure he'll come to the next family conference. Oh my fucking god, dude. But Battler-san didn't appear at the 1982 conference either. Bit by bit, things were changing from the way they'd been at the last family conference he'd come to. Everyone had gotten completely used to Kiri-sama, Rudolph-sama's new wife, and she came down off the boat with a familiar stride. Her daughter, Angie-sama, was growing well, and all of the family focused their attention on her. Even Maria-sama, though she was still tiny, was already 5 years old. She was full of energy and old enough to enjoy playing with George-sama. Jessica-sama and George-sama had already stopped talking about Battler-san's absence. It was the same with the other relatives too. No one touched on the subject as though they had forgotten that Battler-san was missing. Maria-sama had only been 3 when she'd last seen Battler-san. It was doubtful whether she even remembered them. In just 2 years, all trace of your existence has been erased from the Ushiromiya family conference. And Shannon's like, man, am I like the only one that knows Battler who still remember Battler? That made me sad. And so...
今年もバトラ様はお帰りになられませんでしたね。
そうだね。彼が来なくて寂しいかい？
それはその
I don't know about... He's like, I don't know about that.
ルドルフおじさんたちも彼の話を切り出さないし、どうやら僕たちが思ってたよりもずっとバトラ君は本気だったみたいだね。
あいつ本気でもう帰ってこねえのかな。
やっぱりあれは巣立ちだったんだよ。彼は新しい人生のステージに向かって羽ばたいていった。そういうことじゃないのかな。
無鉄砲のはちゃめちゃなやつだったけど。
Of course he is.
ま、
Well,
男ってのはそういうもんなのかもしれねえぜ。
Battler's always crazy and reckless.
彼のことだからね。新しい生活もきっと順応して楽しく元気にやっていると思うよ。だから心配しなくていいと思うよ。
Is he though? When George-sama said that with a smile, I feel a bit uncertain. What does he mean by, there's no reason to worry, I'm sure he's enjoying himself?
バトラのことだから私たちのことなんかケロッと忘れて楽しくやってるんだろうぜ。
うん、きっとそうだよ。そして僕はそれが一番だと思うな。バトラ君は自分と家族、そして亡くなったお母さんのことを考えて新しい生き方を自ら選択した。ならその新しい人生にまっすぐに生きてほしいね。後ろ宮家のことなんて忘れてしまうくらいがちょうどいいよ。
George-sama smiled at me as though expecting me to agree. After a moment of shock, I smoothed my expression over and found the expression he was expecting. Is Battler-san living happily, having forgotten about the family, about me, about our promise? That can't be true, it just can't be. Battler-san must be looking forward to that day of decision just like me. I'm not mistaken about that. He promised me. He said he'd come riding a white horse. I never asked him to say that. He said he'd come for me on the day I resolved myself to live life for his sake. He made that promise himself. For 2 years, I've believed that. I've done all I could to make it through God's trials and the whisperings of demons that tried to throw me from my path. And yet, the things both George-sama and Jessica-sama are saying are so cruel. Battler-san has forgotten about us and has started a new life? Why are they telling such lies? What is this? What is this rumor? What is this nonsense? But that night, I dreamed of Battler-san for the first time in a long while. The Battler-san in my dream wasn't the Battler-san I believed in. It was the Battler-san that George-sama and Jessica-sama had spoken of. The one who had forgotten everything and started a new life. Morning. I woke up with a tear-stained face. The face I saw in the mirror cried and told me it couldn't wait any longer. If I've managed to wait this long, why can't I wait any longer? This is a trial. So we must believe in him and wait. But the me in the mirror spoke. It was sharper than a fragment of glass. I talk about this promise with him, but did we ever really make such a promise? Wasn't Jessica-sama talking about it? That some girls are dreamers who get the wrong idea? And wasn't George-sama talking about it too? He said that Badler-san had gotten used to his new life and had forgotten about the Ushiromiya family. Excuse me. And by now, he isn't the only one who's forgotten. Unless I ask about it, everyone on this island has forgotten his name. Even Rudolph-sama doesn't say his name anymore. If I weren't here to remember his face, perhaps his existence would have been erased from everyone's hearts. I don't believe it, so I won't doubt. Badler-san must still remember his promise. We're both waiting for the day of decision, the day we'll be together. Badler-san, I firmly made up my mind. Does the fact that you're not here mean that after all I'm not determined enough? No, it's because you and God are testing me, isn't it? In that case, I will endure. Until that promised day inevitably comes. So please, Badler-san, I want some proof that you haven't forgotten me. It was the crack that ran across my ceramic-like heart. I had to acknowledge it now. It may be that I'm pretending not to notice something terrifying and sad. Badler-san makes me yearn for him. Badler-san makes me sad. Badler-san makes it hurt. Badler-san, do you still remember me now? Like what is your life at right now? 1 year later. Oh, so that makes it year 3. 1983. 3 years until the crime. And then came the 3rd family conference since Badler-san left. If the number of beds was going to increase, we would have been told about that when setting up. The fact that nothing has changed in particular means that we probably won't be here this year either. Clinging to the final bit of hope, I stood by the docks watching the boat draw closer.
Yo, Shannon-chan.
Oh, it's fucking Rudolph.
今年もべっぴんだね。
ほら、エンジェ。足元に気をつけて。
いやあ、シャノン。やっぱり六軒島はいいね。早くクラウスおじさんもリゾート化すればいいのに。
I can't wait for Kraus to turn this island to a paradise of a resort.
しなくていいわよ。もったいないわ。
Yeah, but you have this fucking big ass forest and shit.
それもそうね。お久しぶりね、シャノンちゃん。背ちょっと伸びたんじゃない？
ありがとうございます。
今年もいい天気や。こうして親族誰一人欠けることなく元気に揃うのは実にめでたいことや。
それでは皆様、お屋敷にご案内いたします。
So, after all, Badler-san has been so thoroughly forgotten that he might not have existed in the first place. I'm sure the sadness will show on my face. Not wanting anyone to see it, I turned my back to the family and led the way up to the mansion by myself. Then, suddenly, someone mentioned Badler-san's name and I jumped.
バトラ君に会ったんですか？
元気にしてました？
ええ。元気だったわ。先日、エンジェを連れてちょっとだけお茶をしてきたの。
So that's so. I was surprised. So, Kiri-sama was in touch with Badler-san. According to her, both Badler-san and Rudolph-sama had long since calmed down after their fight. But both were so stubborn that they hadn't found a good chance to make up. Not surprised. And since Badler-san had gotten used to living with his grandparents and going to school there, and considering that those grandparents might make things even more difficult, going to convince Badler-san to come home wouldn't be easy.
仕方ないわよ。バトラ君よりアスムさんのご両親の方がお怒りだったと思うもの。
Well, no shit.
もうこの喧嘩はバトラ君とルドルフさん2人だけのものじゃなくなってる。
Wow.
じゃあバトラーはそのうち帰ってくるんですか？
ルドルフさんと仲直りはするけれど、後ろ宮家に帰ってくるつもりはないみたい。仕方ないわ。気持ちもわかるもの。
It was a bit of a relief to hear that some of the bad feeling had died down in these 3 years. If we take Asumu-sama's parents into account, it's no surprise that things haven't gone as well as they could. But if Badler-san doesn't hate Rudolph-sama anymore, then someday, surely he'll come back. He'll have grown so much. My resolve will not waver anymore. For some nights, these past 3 years, I felt sad and resentful. But now it feels as though those 3 years were something I needed. After all, the seeds of love, the faint feelings I once had for you, have budded powerfully, waiting for the day that we'll be reunited. This is how honest my feelings for you are now. I love you. I want to see you again as soon as I can. Until that time, I'll keep that bud of love warm and growing for you. I won't doubt the coming of that day anymore. Just as I think of you under the same sky, I believe that you are thinking of me. I'm sure this news about him is a sign that God is cheering me on. So I asked God one more time inside my heart. Since my feelings for Badler-san have not wavered for a day these past 3 years, let me know that he feels the same way. I know that asking for that is a sin. However, now that we've reached a 3-year turning point, I want some gift from God. Any gift to show that I have not waited in vain. That is what I prayed.
そうだ。バトラ君とみんなもずいぶん長く会ってないでしょ。みんなも寂しがってるだろうから手紙を書きなさいって言って。
Letters?
書かせてきたのよ。
Oh? Huh? Did God really hear my prayers? I felt as though my heart was going to leap out of my chest.
バトラからの手紙？へえ。あいつ何を書いたんだろう。
彼の近況でも書かれてるのかな。楽しみだね。
Kiri-sama pulled a brown envelope out of her bag and handed it to George-sama. Just one? When George-sama opened it, several folded letters came out.
これは僕宛てみたいだね。一枚一枚宛先が違うみたいだ。はい、こっちはジェシカちゃん。
Thank you!
Thank you.
これはマリアちゃんにだって。読めるかな。
後で読んで聞かせるわ。ありがとう。
エンジェちゃん宛てもあるよ。さすがにまだ読めないよね。
読めるようになったら渡すことにするわ。
こっちは元気で楽しくやってるぜ。だってさ。ならよかったぜ。
それで全部ですか？
It's crazy. Bit of a pause there, and Shannon was like, wait, is there even a letter for me?
うん。これで全部みたいだね。 ありがとう。
Wow. The fuck? George-sama handed me the empty envelope. Apparently, he thanked me because he thought I was offering to throw it away for him. And clearly, there was nothing inside it. Bit of a cliffhanger there. Wow. This is a little bit drastic on this one. So we are over 55 minutes in. You know, right around over the 55-minute mark, and so far. So we are at 3 out of 6 years. And there is no... So Shannon was still on that bridge of hope. Hoping for Battler to return, like, every year, hoping for Battler to return. And unfortunately, never returned. Year 3 was more of like, maybe there is some bit of a nature slowly healing, but there was no letter for Shannon. Did Battler, you know, forgot about the promise to Shannon, or was everything about Battler when it comes to that is just nothing more than a joke of a fantasy? You know, it's weird. Because you would think that, you know, Shannon, you know, has the hope of romantic interest with Battler if Battler, you know, returns with a white horse for her. But just nothing more than a piping dream. Who knows? Next part. Well, you know, we will see how this will turn out, you know, within year 3. So with that being said, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Have a good one.